What happens when you can't wake up, but you can't sleep either? When your body feels like it's frozen, but your mind continues to live in a nightmare. Sleep paralysis is a condition where the body becomes immobile, but the mind remains fully conscious. Sometimes it is accompanied by hallucinations, a sense of someone else's presence, or, most frighteningly, a look into the eyes of an unknown person who probably shouldn't have been there. Today you will hear the stories of those who have experienced this obscurantis condition. Don't forget to subscribe, and here we go. I'd woken up in my dorm room. It was a stormy night, around 4 in the morning, and still quite dark, though there was yellowish-orange light from a street lamp outside. The window at the foot of my bed had been left cracked open and was banging in the wind. I got up to shut it and stumbled back to bed, lying on my right side facing the wall, with my eyes closed. It began with tactile hallucinations. I felt as if a pair of slightly clammy hands with thick fingers were gently stroking my face, in particular my lips, eyes, and ears, and prodding at my mouth. Eventually, this feeling gave way to prickling pins and needles all over my body, and I felt very cold and buzzing, as if I were electrified or covered in static shocks. At the same time, a heavy ringing began in my ears, very loud and in an even tone. It was at this point I got the sensation that there was someone else in the room, very close to me. I was able to open my eyes, and I felt this weight pressing down on the left side of my ribs and shoulder. The light from the street was blocked by shadow, and I realized the shadow had a solid form, a squat creature. With cat-like features and claws, though humanoid and compact. It was about 3 or 4 feet tall, sitting on top of me. It had pointed ears and pale yellow eyes with no pupils. I couldn't distinguish its face beyond the outline and its glowing eyes. I knew it was a demonic force of some sort, and I tried to scream. I felt the air leaving my throat, but only heard a faint whimper. I don't know how long this lasted, but eventually the apparition was gone, and I was able to move. I got up and turned on my bedside light and sat up until dawn. This happened to me starting around kindergarten and lasted a few years. I had no idea others experienced this, and it's so bizarre to me. I experienced the big foreboding, an incredibly scary hominoid silhouetted in the door to the hallway. The paralysis and fear. The thing would approach me often and stand there. Once it breathed onto my face for what seems like forever. I'd always go to sleep with my parents. It was so scary. This happened about every 6 to 8 weeks for a year or two, until I saw The Empire Strikes Back. The scene in the cave where Luke confronts Vader and discovers himself somehow inspired me. I vowed to confront my night paralysis demon, so to speak. So the next time it visited, I waited for it to lean over and somehow was able to break free in my sleep state. I grabbed it by its scruff and rolled it onto the floor, screaming to it never to come back. I started punching it in the face and chest, and suddenly woke up with a start, but not super terrified like all the other times. Weirdly, it never returned. I was in college when I next experienced sleep paralysis, but it wasn't scary then, and I somehow knew how to control and feel the sweeping sensation as my body entered the paralysis state. I'm waking up, or at least I think I do. The room feels familiar, but everything around me is in a strange fog. It's semi-dark. The problem is, I can't move. It's not that it's hard for me, it's just, I can't. My arms and legs feel like they're paralyzed, and I can feel the tension growing in every cell of my body. My body, it's not mine. It feels like someone else's, and I'm a prisoner in this body of my own. I try to move at least my fingers, but nothing comes out. Honestly, it's frightening. Very frightening. Especially when I realize I'm completely out of control, and that's when I start to hear rustling. No, not a rustle. It's footsteps. Someone's footsteps. And they're not just walking across the floor, they're getting closer. It's not just a sound, I can feel them like a cold wind creeping up from behind. My head tries to figure out what's going on, but no thoughts come to mind. Everything seems detached, as if in a fog. I can hear my heart beating faster. I try to open my eyes, but even that seems impossible. But I know I'm opening them. It's not my will. It's like a gap between dream and reality. I see dark silhouettes against the night shadows of the room. They are standing. They are waiting. I know they are there, and I know they know I see them. I hear a whisper. It's indistinct, but it's getting louder. It grows, as if someone is standing next to my ear, their breathing merging with my own agonizing breaths. Something about the sound makes me feel even more helpless. I try to scream, but my mouth won't move. I can't even call for help. It's like a nightmare, where every moment is an eternity. I desperately try to move a single finger, but the response is complete dumbness. And suddenly, just when I think I'm not going to survive this horror, my body seems to let go. I literally feel like I can move again, like someone has lifted an invisible weight off me. My chest feels lighter. I struggle, with a wild effort, to roll over onto my side, and finally, I stand up. I breathe more deeply. It's just a dream. I try to reassure myself. It's all just a nightmare. But the footsteps, quiet, and continue in the corner of the room until I'm far away. The first time I had sleep paralysis, I knew it as soon as my eyes opened, and I wasn't able to move. I had heard the stories about it and knew that something always comes for you, something imaginary perhaps, but excruciatingly real in the moment, usually as an entity sitting on your chest, choking your breathing as you're powerless to move. I tried to make a fist, desperately. Tried to wiggle my toes. I tried and tried, but the best I could do was curl the ends of my fingers flightly, or barely wiggle a big toe. It was silent at first and dark, and the only terror was of anticipation, the not knowing. Then, suddenly there was light. Light ringed my closed door and lit up the room in a dim glow. Then there was noise. A sound that I could feel in my body, constant, reverberating like I was lying on rails, facing away as a train sped toward me, blasting its horn. It grew louder and louder until it was deafening. It wasn't real, it was in my mind. I knew that, but I could fucking hear it. Something was right on top of me. The moment had come. That's when the panic set in. I tried to scream loudly, with all my lungs, so loud that the neighbors would hear me, or at least my roommate would hear me. All that came out was a pathetic groan that wouldn't even have woken someone sleeping next to me. Right when it seemed as if my skull would split from the noise, I could suddenly move again, and I snapped upright in bed, sweating bullets, heart going 1,000,000 miles an hour. All quiet, all dark. Thank you guys for watching this video to the end. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what story you liked the most and what stories you'd like to hear more of. Don't forget to subscribe. Good luck, everyone.